Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again. If I look like crap, that's because it's literally 3:15 in the morning. Don't ask why. Don't ask me why I'm up recording a video right now. Actually, do ask because it's a big thing. So they released the official poster for the crossover this year, or the official title poster for the crossover. One of the two, whichever one you want to call it. So yeah, let's just jump straight into it. So, we've had the invasion crossover when it was we'll say season three of the Flash. Then we had Crisis on Earth X with season 4 of the Flash, and then boom, season 5 of the Flash, season 7 of Arrow, season 4 of Supergirl. The crossover, story and episode or crossover title is Elseworlds. Now, if you're not a comic book fan, you're probably sitting there going, okay, what the hell does that mean, Elseworlds? Like, cool, Crisis on Earth X, which was a much cooler title. Invasion was a much cooler title than Elseworlds. Elseworlds sounds lame. Well, you're wrong. Elseworlds is extremely interesting. So essentially, Elseworlds is a thing within DC Comics. So if you even Google Elseworlds, the logo was used for the DC Comics back in the day with Elseworlds, it's the logo they're actually using on the crossover, which is on the crossover poster, which is actually pretty awesome. I love that. So for those that don't know what Elseworlds are, they're basically stories outside of your regular DC canon or DC universe, canon. So how you have Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman in their normal stuff. Then you have stuff outside the Elseworlds, like you have your Red Sun storyline. You might be familiar with Red Sun. Obviously, they're adapting that storyline for Supergirl season 4. However, that's going to work. And then, you might be familiar with Gotham by Gaslight. That's an Elseworlds story as well. And even stuff like New Frontier, I think, is Elseworlds. And there's different things like that. So there's many different Elseworlds titles, but how is it going to affect the crossover? Why is the crossover called Elseworlds? Well, one of the big questions going into this year's crossover is that they changed the episode number. So usually it's episode 8 of each show is the crossover. Then we have episode 9, which is the mid-season finale. Now this season, episode 8 of the shows is their mid-season finale. With The Flash, episode 8 is their 100th episode, but also the mid-season finale. They've actually just started filming that today, funnily enough, so yeah. But there's a bit of a change. Now, I guess a lot of us just presumed they were changing it so The Flash had their own 100th episode, but I think they're changing it for a different reason. So with the crossover being called Elseworlds, okay, this is a theory. Now, they might confirm this literally later today. We'll talk about something that's coming later today as well, later on in the video, which is actually massive, and we might give some quick thoughts on what that could be, but we'll talk about that later on in the video. But what they could actually reveal today is what they mean by Elseworlds. Now, what I'm guessing they mean by Elseworlds is exactly what they mean in the comics. So essentially, the characters that we're getting in this crossover, so our version of The Flash, our version of Supergirl, our version of Green Arrow, our version of Superman, because we know Superman and Lois Lane are going to be in this crossover. I think those versions of characters that we already know and have been introduced to, they're going to be different versions. So they're going to be in this, other story outside of our normal canon. This isn't just like another Earth. This is just outside of it. So we're just going to basically pick up in this random, Elseworlds universe with these characters. Now, I could be wrong with that, but I don't know why they would call it Elseworlds if that wasn't going to be the case. Now, the beauty with this, and the beauty of doing this in the crossover, is that there's no annoying setup. So we don't have to. We know that that the Flash has the first episode, then it's Arrow, and then it's Supergirl. So that's how it's going to play out. So we were all wondering, okay, what Earths are going to be on. There's all this debate. People didn't want it to be on Supergirl's Earth, but then there's the big thing about how Superman and Lois Lane were coming in. So we're like, oh, it's going to be on Earth 38, or it's going to be a massive issue and a massive just task to get everyone over to Earth 1. And it was like, oh, okay. Is Batwoman going to be on Earth 1? Is she going to be on Earth 31 or something? And then we're all going to have to go there. It's going to be one big mess and just going to be annoying to get there. That's not the case. So Batwoman is going to be set in her own thing by the sounds of it. It's her own thing by the sounds of it. But this does eliminate us having to deal with all that just annoying stuff to get to just the setting and the proper premise for the crossover. Now, it is hard to know if this 100% means that Batwoman will not be on Earth 1 or Earth 38. Obviously, we won't know that until her show comes around. This is meant to be your, backdoor pilot, if you want to call it, for Batwoman. But with it being Elseworlds and stuff, I don't know if that'd be the smartest idea, but I don't know. I'm not the one writing it. I'm not a genius behind these shows, so, I'm probably wrong in regards to that. But this overall is just a cleaner way to do the crossover because you don't have to do it's just weird, how we will always go to the crossover and then it'd be this massive event, fighting Nazis or fighting aliens, and then we just go back to, especially with like cases like Arrow, where they go back to just doing vigilante stuff, and there's no real mention of what's just happened. There might be like a slight in-joke or something there, but it's never really mentioned. Now I know that's slightly a reference to the comics, where that happens a lot, where there'll be a massive thing and then they go back to the normal stuff and there's no real reference of it most of the time, but it just still feels a bit weird at the same time. So with this Elseworlds stuff, if they're just different versions of the characters, there's none of that hassle. There's none of the hassle beforehand with setting it all up, and there's none of like the weird hassle afterwards where it's just like, are you going to reference what's just happened? I mean, like Martin Stein died and stuff. Like Legends was really the only one that sort of like dealt with the repercussions of last season's crossover. So obviously it's the much cleaner way to do it. I guess the most interesting thing is what like types of, like how different are, if they are different, obviously. Like we are maybe jumping the gun a bit by saying they're going to be different, but just the fact that it's Elseworlds, they should be different versions than we're used to. So I guess how different are, like, say, the Flash in this Elseworlds story, your Green Arrow, your Supergirl, even your Superman. How different are they going to be to the ones we already know? Like, is it going to be Barry? Well, I'm guessing, obviously, it's going to be Barry Allen, but is he going to be in a different suit? Is he going to be in, like, a classic sort of suit? Is he going to look more Jay Garrick-esque than anything? Is he going to look maybe a bit Johnny Quick? How's this Barry Allen going to look in Elseworlds? Is, Green Arrow going to look more like your very, very classic Oliver Queen with like some, Robin Hood sort of hat? Is that how they're going to do it? I don't know. Well, Supergirl's pretty classic in regards to her, but they could change her up a bit if they wanted to as well. Same with Superman. Like, there's a lot of different possibilities with these characters and what they could do with this Elseworlds storyline, or even they might not even be heroes. You know what I mean? Barry Allen might not be a hero, and it might be someone else that's the Flash in this Elseworlds story, which would be a bit lame. I still think you want Grant Gustin being your Flash, but there's a whole bunch of different possibilities when you do jump into Elseworlds, stories. Now, if we do look at the poster quickly, it's been on the screen basically the whole time, I'm guessing, but if you do look at it more closely, just above, like where the arrow icon is, above that is actually Wayne Tower. That's Wayne Tower, which is pretty cool. So let's just jump into something that Marc Guggenheim tweeted out. So Marc Guggenheim was the showrunner of Arrow and Legends. Now he's just basically behind the scenes. Like, he's had I think he's writing, don't know if he's writing all the episodes of the crossover. I know he's at least writing the Arrow episode. But yeah, we'll jump into some stuff that he tweeted out. So Marc Guggenheim tweeted out the poster that you just saw, the whole Elseworlds thing, but he also, he wrote on the tweet, such big casting news coming to day. So don't know why he split 2 day up. Mark, you're a writer, you should know proper grammar. But anyway, so such big casting news coming today. Now this makes me think, okay, we already know who's playing Batwoman. We know that Nora Fries, whatever, is coming in, played by Cassandra Jean, who is Stephen Amell's wife. We know that Dr. Destiny is coming into the crossover. So who is this other big casting? We know who's playing Lois Lane as well. Elizabeth Tulloch, I think her name was, from the top of my head. I think that's her name. She's playing Lois Lane. We know Tyler Hoechlin's playing Superman. So who else could be coming in? Like, okay, we've got these characters. And the only person I could think of, the only character I'm thinking of, and I referenced that tower before, are they going to be announcing Batman? Are they going to be announcing the casting of Batman in literally a couple of hours from now? After I upload this video. So I might do another video, within like 2 or 3 hours of this video going up. But that's insane if Batman is being cast in this. Now, obviously you can see that's the Batwoman symbol, so obviously Batwoman's a thing here. But, Wayne Tower's there, such big cast and news. Like, who else could it be? Like, maybe a Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor is maybe the other character that's, I think, big enough to like go on about this, but I don't know who else it could be. Green Lantern, if you really want to go Green Lantern, but that's another character that's always been teased. I'm just scrolling through the replies to see if anyone's given their thoughts on it. People just saying Batman or Lex. People saying Batman or Lex. Batman. Well, Batman's the obvious one. But Lex Luthor's another possibility, especially when you have Lois Lane coming in as well, and you have Superman there as well. And it could be like a heroic version of Lex Luthor maybe as well. So, man, I'm excited to see whoever this casting thing is. If I had to put money on a choice of 2 characters, Batman's the obvious one, just because you have Batwoman there, but maybe Lex Luthor as well. But this is big, Elseworlds. I wasn't expecting this. I guess the big question around this, well, there's 2 big questions around this. The first one is is this Batwoman going to be the Batwoman that we stick around with when her series comes along? Like, is this going to serve as that backdoor pilot? And I guess the second one is whether it is going to be Elseworlds versions of our characters, which I hope it is. If you're going to call the crossover Elseworlds, I would hope at least the majority of the characters, but most likely all of them, are Elseworlds versions. Like, they're different versions than the ones we're dealing with, in your regular season. I think that's a change. I think that's awesome. It's basically like going to a different Earth, but without our normal people, just hanging out with those different versions. But in regards to this, it's just going to be like a world that doesn't matter. Like, really, at the end of the crossover, so many of these people could be dead. Barry Allen could die, Supergirl could die, and, Green Arrow could be the only one that's left alive. But it wouldn't matter as long as, because that's its own self-contained Elseworld story. And then we go back to our normal seasons once they come back. So there's a lot of possibilities. I'm excited. The crossover starts December 9th. And as I said, there's going to be big casting news coming today. So I could have another video out in the next couple of hours. Who knows? As I said, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. It's now almost 3:30. I'm wide awake. This has woken me up. This is my own little hit of caffeine. So I'm excited to see what this casting news is today. And hopefully I'll have another video out in the next couple of hours. But guys, if you're hyped for this, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below. Are you excited for this? As soon as I saw Elseworlds, I did fanboy out a bit. I sort of freaked out because Elseworlds aren't my favorite stories, but the concept of them is extremely cool. And when you mix them in with TV and just, the DC Comics TV embracing that, that's awesome. So I can't wait at all to see what they do. And I just, basically can't wait to see what they do and just how they embrace that themselves. So, let me know in the comments your different thoughts. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And I'll catch you hopefully in the next couple of hours, guys, with whatever this big new casting news is. Hopefully that's proper English. But until then, I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.